Chapter 1 of A Different Cowboy, Part 2 by Joe Jones. On the way back to Texas, Johnny, Tessa, and Sam stopped a little ways after being broken out of jail and let Toby the Drifter head back to Tucson to be with his wife and child. They were forever thankful that he had saved them from certain death. The sun was on the rise, and they came into a town called Tombstone. Tombstone? Tessa says as she reads the sign. Why do they call it that, Johnny? I don't know, dear, but I heard a lot of good and bad things about this town. I used to live here, says Sam with his deep voice. It's a lot like Tucson, full of hard-working people. You mind your own business and you usually make it out alive. This town makes boys into men. Well, as far as I can see, y'all are both men. We don't need to be here very long, says Tessa. I've got some old friends here I'd like to see before we go, Sam states. They ride on through the town to the outskirts and find a little run-down wooden shack. Johnny looks at it and says, Are you sure anyone lives here, Sam? Looks like the Arizona desert has really taken its toll on this place since you may have last seen it. I don't think anyone lives here, partner. Sam looks back at Johnny and grins. He turns back to the house and yells, Cole! Parker! Hello! They hear some ruckus begin to come from the little shack. The door swings open and an old man with a rifle comes to the doorway pointing it at Sam. Johnny quickly draws his pistol and Sam puts his hand on his. Whoa, partner, take it easy, says Sam. Who are you? What do you want? The old man screams back. I'm looking for brothers Cole and Parker Swift. What's your business with them? Sam urges the old man to ease his weapon so no one gets hurt. Johnny, still pointing his pistol at the old man, refuses. I ain't putting my weapon down. You're on my property, yells the old man. Okay, Sam says. Understood. Now, as I was saying, I'm looking for Cole and Parker Swift. I used to live in this town back when I was a younger man. Name's Sam. I'm their friend. The old man squints his eyes. He scratches his head with one hand while still holding the rifle pointing at all of them with the other. Sam, you say? That's right. The old man laughs and says, I remember you. You was a boy last time I seen you. God, your voice got deep. You used to get picked on a lot in this town. This town turned you into a man. You killed that feller when he caught you with his wife. That was a big talk of the town. Then you ran off to Texas or something. I don't bring that up these days. I'm a different man than I was back then, says Sam. The old man lowers his gun. Johnny then lowers his. Them boys you're looking for don't live here no more. They stay in town. They live above the Red Buffalo Saloon. Who's that feller you got there with you? This is Johnny and his woman Tessa. His woman? The old man raises his gun again. You get your ass off my property. There ain't gonna be no damn mixing races here. Not while I'm alive. The old man walks off the porch and comes closer to the wagon Johnny and Tessa are still sitting in. Sam, standing on the ground to the right of the man, prepares for the worst. Johnny pulls his pistol, but the old man shoots it out of his hand. Here, let me do you a favor, the old man yells as he turns his rifle to Tessa. No, Johnny yells as he leans over to shield her with his body. They both close their eyes. Tessa opens her eyes and looks at Johnny. Johnny, are you okay? She cries out. Johnny sits up and feels his shirt. I think so. I don't feel any pain. They look forward to where the old man was standing. There, they see him lying on the ground, motionless. To the right of him, Sam, with his arms still extended and a smoking pistol in his hand. Johnny takes a deep breath, relieved. He tips his hat to Sam. Sam picks up Johnny's pistol and hands it back to him. My first day in town and I'm already making friends, says Johnny. They ride back to town and find the Red Buffalo Saloon. Sam tells them to join him, and they walk in together. Even though it was early, the saloon always welcomed people no matter what time of day. The trio walk through the shutter doors, and those who are in the saloon look over at Johnny and Tessa. The man on the piano in the corner stops playing. Johnny and Sam place their hand on their pistols. Sam looks at everyone staring and says, "Anybody got a problem with what y'all see?" No one says a word. "Then quit staring and get back to drinking." The piano begins to play again. They walk over to the bar. The barkeeper stands there wiping glasses down. They sit down at the bar. "Well, this looks familiar," Johnny says as he leans over to Tessa. "Yeah, a little too soon." Johnny and Tessa had just been at a saloon the night before when they were arrested. Sam taps his fingers on the bar, growing impatient, waiting on the bartender to look up and serve them. Tessa begins to realize he is purposely ignoring them because she is with them. "They don't serve colored folks here, Johnny," she says. "Well, they do startin' now," Johnny replies. He clears his throat to get his attention. The man begins to walk down the bar away from them. Johnny pulls his pistol and fires into the ceiling to get his attention. The man, startled by this, turns around and finally says, "Didn't see you there. What'll it be, boys?" "I'm looking for two brothers, Cole and Parker Swift. Seen them?" Sam asked. "Yeah, I seen them. They're in here every night, till dawn. Troublemakers. They live upstairs." "Got any food here?" Tessa asked the bartender. He hears her question, but picks up a glass and begins wiping it off, and ignores her. She looks over at Johnny. Johnny then grabs the man from the other side of the bar and slams his head into it, then grabs him by the shirt collar and pulls him close. "Maybe you'll listen to the lady now." He looks over at Tessa and smiles and says, "Look, darling, I believe he'd like to answer your question now. Ask again." Again, Tessa asks, "Got any food here?" The bartender, scared, still in Johnny's rage of a grip, stutters to say, Yes, ma'am. Down the hall, take a right. That leads you into the next building, into the hotel lobby. There's food there." Johnny lets go of his collar and says, "Since you want to keep wiping things down, wipe your blood off the bar, and learn how to respect a lady when you see one. We better not have this problem next time we're in here." Johnny puts his arm out to Tessa, and she wraps her arm in his. "Let's go to breakfast, darling." Sam says he'll catch up with them, and walks upstairs to meet with his friends. A little while later, while Johnny and Tessa are still down in the lobby finishing up breakfast, Sam and his friends come walking downstairs. Sam introduces them. "Johnny and Tessa. Boy, I've heard a lot about y'all. Well, in the past hour, that is," says the taller cowboy named Cole. "Yeah, any friend of Sam is a friend of ours," Parker tells them. "How long are y'all going to be in town?" "Not long. We're on the run. We got to get away from Tucson as far as we can, soon. They just broke out of jail last night. Scared word's going to spread here, then we'll be in the same situation," Sam replies. Cole nods his head. "Well, I've got a house out town. It ain't much, but it's a place to lay your head for a few days. Which way y'all headed when you leave here?" This time Johnny answers. "We're going back east, to Texas. She's got a home there we've got to get back to check on. After that, I don't know where we're headed, because we're wanted there too, for protecting ourselves, but the law don't agree." Tessa looks over at Johnny, saddened to hear this, as she comes to the reality that she will most likely have to leave her home behind. "But if you're traveling by wagon and horse, I'd reconsider," says Parker. "Why is that?" Johnny asks. "Indians. This is their territory, and they're madder than hell that we're here. Sometimes they come into town fighting with us. A few of them shot some of our civilians here last week with their bow and arrows. They find out y'all are out there in the open on the trails, they'll kill you. This is their land. Well, I've got Cherokee Indian in my blood, my grandmother. We shouldn't have any problems. I don't have a problem with them. Parker looks at Tessa beside him and says, "Looks like you don't have a problem with no kind of people." "That's right." "Well, if you have to leave, I suggest catching the train out of here. It's the safest way. That is, if they'll even let Tessa on." "We'll take our chances," Sam says. Tessa pulls Johnny to the side, still thinking about her home back in Texas. "Johnny, we need a stable home. That's my home." "I know, Tessa. We have been over this already. I know you don't want to leave it, but it's not safe here. We're wanted there, too. The only thing we can do is stay and fight, but eventually they're gonna get us, darling. We can't fight off the whole town. I've got to protect you." "You're not just protecting me now, Johnny." "Tessa, what are you talking about? I don't have to protect them over there. They're grown men." Tessa takes Johnny by the hand and says, "Listen to me, Johnny. I'm a woman, and I know my body. I know when my body is telling me something." Johnny looks at her confused. "Tessa, I don't..." "Johnny, I'm pregnant." This concludes Chapter 1 of A Different Cowboy, Part 2 by Joe Jones. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you.